So here's the timer, and we run it. Remember, 0.6 to 0.9. So you can hit the ball now, 0.63, but let's just say 0.6. And then you can hit the ball now at 0.9. But here, 1 second, it's too high. It's taking you too long to contact the ball. And this is all because the toss is too high.
What you're about to watch is called a video stroke analysis lesson. This is a real lesson that I gave a few months ago to one of my students over video. This is where players send me videos of their serve or their forehand or backhand, both from the back view and from the side view. And I take those videos and I make a full-length lesson comparing them side by side to the pros, showing them what they do correctly, but also showing them what they need to change to gain confidence, gain spin, gain power, but overall gain confidence. These are $100. And as you watch this, if you're thinking, man, I would love to have Ryan make one of these for me, it's so simple. Click the link in the description and order one, and you'll probably have it within the week. I cannot wait to help you, but enjoy this video stroke analysis lesson.
Hey, Eric, it's Ryan from 2minutetennis.net. Hey, thanks so much for the chance to now do your serve with a video stroke analysis lesson. So I'm going to show you two things I really like about your serve. Number one is this position right here. We can see your strings are pointing down. This is awesome. This is exactly what you want because it allows for the proper movement of the racket coming in over the head, knocking off a birthday hat, which you could see right there. If you were wearing a birthday hat, you absolutely would hit it with your racket. That is absolutely awesome. And that's just the best way to move the racket. It's called right to left from the back view. Let's look at the side view, and I'll show you the next thing. Is I really like how when you're going to hit, this left arm is tucked in against the body. That's exactly what you want. It actually allows for you to slow your body's rotation down and actually makes it easier for you to accelerate the racket. So no matter what we talk about, we are absolutely going to make sure that you keep your palm down and that, lifting the racket position and that you're tucking the left arm when you're contacting the ball. All right, Eric. So here are your areas for improvement. Got 6 of them for you. Number 1 is the grip. We'll talk about the grip that you're currently using and the grip you should use. Number 2, your feet are too close when you begin. It actually forces you to step with your left foot because your body wishes your feet were farther apart. So that's why you step. It's one of the reasons why I think you stand farther back from the line because you're trying not to foot fault when you should really just start with your feet the way your foot steps, that distance. You should just start with that distance because that's the distance your body wants to be in. That's why you're stepping. Number 3, your toss is too high and it's too far to the left. Number 4, you are swinging toward your target. So you are hitting way too flat. You probably noticed that when you hit your fastest serves, you have got to skim the net. And it's because you actually hit backspin when you hit your serve. Your ball has backspin. It doesn't have side spin, which is going to help bring the ball down, or even top spin, which is even better. But you're hitting backspin. So it's why you probably have noticed you got to hit your first serves really close to the net just to get them to go in. Number 5, there are movements that your left arm should make. I know I just talked about the tuck as something that you should be doing, but there is something you need to do before the tuck that you're missing that is really going to help you uncoil. And then number 6, you are falling over to the left when you're done. And that's actually an indicator of the grip and the toss that you're using, which forces, your whole body to fall off to the left. So, all right, let's get started. All right, Eric. Number 1, your grip. Let me show you the grip you're currently using and the grip you should use. Now, the grip you're currently using is an Eastern forehand grip. This is where the knuckle and the heel pad are on panel number 3. 1 being the top, this is 2, this is 3. The grip that you want places the knuckle and the heel pad on panel number 2. This is the continental grip. This is what's going to allow you to put spin on the ball to gain consistency. Now, you may be surprised to learn that you're not using a continental grip, but that's because after you toss the ball, you're switching your grip. I'm going to zoom in here. Look right here. See that change in your grip? And that's when you're changing to that full Eastern grip. Let me show you what your racket should look like at the beginning, and I'm going to compare you to Nadal. Now, I flipped the video for Nadal so that he's right-handed, I want you to look at his racket. See how his racket's open? This is an indicator of the grip. So right now you can see that your strings are mostly facing to the side. That means you're probably pretty close to a continental, maybe in between a continental and an Eastern forehand. But then right here, that's when you change the grip. You can see your fingers flare, and that's when you go to a truly Eastern forehand grip. That's when your strings are facing up at this point. But that's really all because of the grip that you're using. So start with your racket face open at about 45 degrees, but do so because you're using a true continental grip. And then you just got to make sure, Eric, that you're not switching it halfway through the motion. All right, Eric, number 2, you keep stepping with the front foot faulting, and that's because your feet are starting too close together. If you look where they are now, and then big step into the baseline or inside the court. This is happening because your feet start too close. There's a foot fault. Like this happens all the time. See how your right foot comes forward to get closer to your left, and then your left desires to then get away from it again, right? The goal, my goal for you, would be that you just start with your feet farther apart. Now, it might feel weird at this moment right here, but once you toss the ball, it's going to feel awesome. So when you step, you're actually creating the distance that your brain likes. So just start with that distance from the beginning. You won't feel the need to step, and you'll reduce how often you foot fault. All right, now number 3. Your toss is too high and too far left. So the way we know that your toss is too high is because I use a timer. And I like to put the ball somewhere at head level, nose level, top of your head, whatever. So this is perfect right here. And I like to put a timer down, and I like to start the timer from here until contact, and it should be anywhere from 0.6 to 0.9 seconds, somewhere between 0.6 and 0.9. So here's the timer, and we run it. Remember, 0.6 to 0.9. So you can hit the ball now, 0.63, but let's just say 0.6. And then you can hit the ball now at 0.9. But here, 1 second, it's too high. It's taking you too long to contact the ball. And this is all because the toss is too high. When you look at the pros, their tosses are lower. Let me show you some pros to give you perspective. Here's Ben Shelton. And if you can look right here, there's the ball at the top of his head, same as you. And then we see how long it takes for him to contact the ball, and 0.76. Here's the one and only Roger Federer. And right there, put the timer down. We see how long, oops, I gotta move it. There we go. See how long it takes from that moment right there for him to contact the ball, 0.83. And of course, we've got Nick Kyrgios. And so right about there, that's about head level. Put the timer down, see how long it takes for him to contact. And that's 0.69. Now, the way you're going to toss lower is to toss slower. Your left arm is coming up faster than all the pros we just showed. And we know that because the faster your arm goes, the higher the ball is going to go up in the air. But it's not just the height of the toss. It's also the ball going to the left. And you can see that the ball is really arcing to the left. And it's not a topspin serve because you don't have the grip for a topspin serve. So there's no way for you to hit topspin. This is your serve actually has underspin on it. But you can see the ball arcing over to the left. Now, if you continue to toss over here and you have the continental grip as shown earlier, your ball will always go over here. And you'll say, man, that continental grip doesn't work. So what we actually need is we need the ball to be over to the right. Let me show you the epitome of the toss to the right, Arthur Ashe. It's an old video, probably 1980. You'll see the strings are down. And just like you, right? Let's look at his toss. You can see the right to left movement. Watch his racket go like this. Right to left. Look where his toss is. Toss is way over to the right. And he's got the continental grip. You can see his strings are facing left and the racket's traveling this way. That's what imparts the side spin on the ball. So you have to make sure that you're tossing off to the right And that's what's going to send that ball into the court. So no more tossing left. Once you work on your motion and you work on your grip and you get used to it, then you can start to add topspin. And that does require a toss that's a little more left, like more above the head, but not right now. You need a toss that's off to your right. And what that's actually going to allow you to do is going to allow you to swing off to the right, which we're going to talk about next. Now, number 4 is that you swing toward your target. You hit a really flat serve. Now, that's very much because of the grip that you use and the toss being to the left. But watch your racket. Like, this is a telltale sign. There's your contact right there, right? You're hitting the ball, and in the very next frame, we still see the ball between, or like in your strings. Not like touching your strings, obviously, but through the hoop of your racket. You are swinging straight toward your opponent. We do not want to have the idea that the racket should track out toward the target. Your racket should actually be tracking out over to the fence on the right. You could say this door right here. That's actually the direction your racket should be swinging as you're hitting the serve. So here's a great view of Taylor Fritz doing just this, right? So let's check out his toss timing, by the way. So there's the top of his head. Put the timer down, and he contacts now 0.78, right? Somewhere between 0.6 and 0.9 is what you'll see the pros. So this is an out wide serve that pulls the opponent off the court, and then he actually wrong foots him by hitting behind him. But here's the crazy part. You can see the racket's on its edge, and strings are facing left. That's because of the continental grip, which you do not have at the moment. Your racket is perfectly flat like a waiter's tray, strings up. And that's because of the grip. Believe it or not, he is swinging toward the WTA sign as he's striking the ball. Watch his racket track to the right. Like, look at his hand. Look at the direction the hand is traveling. His right hand is traveling off to the right. His strings are facing left, which we can see. The right edge of the racket is in front. That makes the strings face to the left. But his racket's traveling to the right. That's what's imparting the spin that makes the ball curve. The reason players struggle with a continental grip is because they swing toward their target. You need to swing off to the right of your target. So when you're serving to the deuce side, swing this direction. When you're on the ad side, swing toward that guy. Sorry, pushed the wrong button there and I stopped the analysis. So if you're on the deuce side, swing here. If you're on the ad side, swing over there. Just swing to the right of your target. When you do that with a continental grip, when the toss is to the right, then it'll be so much easier now to get the ball in. Now the reason, because I explained why I want the toss to the right, but I don't know why, but I forgot to tell you why I want your toss to be lower. I want you to swing faster. And it's incredibly important that when you're adding spin that you also add racket speed. Otherwise, the serve goes way too slow. So by tossing lower, you're going to give yourself less time to swing, and you'll be forced to swing faster. It's like being late to work. You got to drive faster, right? So by tossing a little bit slower, that gives you a little bit less time. It builds the environment, or the environment is built into the swing that you now have to swing faster. It's a necessity. So anytime you add spin, you're going to add control, but spin craves racket speed. So tossing a little lower will give you that lack of lack of time that you actually need. So toss to the right, swing to the right, leading with the edge. The amount of spin, the amount of cut, the amount of control, and the amount of frustration that your opponent then has to experience is going to go way up. All right, number 5. There are 3 things that your left arm should do. Your left arm should toss. Of course, you're doing that. That's the first thing. And the third thing is that your left arm should tuck. You're also doing that. But there's something that you're missing on the serve that's going to allow you to uncoil. And the arm should reach out and then basically point to the opponent. Let me show you your serve versus a pro who does this perfectly. Now, this is Marcel. I always pronounce his last name incorrectly. Graniers or something. I don't know. He's like number 9 in the world in doubles right now. So obviously he's got his left arm in the air. You've got your left arm in the air. I want you to watch how his arm goes out and it looks like he's pointing at the opponent, or he could basically point to the opponent at this moment. See the arc? The arm arcs out. Then watch it tuck in against the body. So your arm just drops. Like no one would accuse you of dropping out and pointing at the opponent. But here, absolutely. Watch your arm collapse. It's critical that this arm drops out and then pulls back in. It's almost like a cartwheel movement where the arm reaches out and then tucks in against the body and allows for a better shoulder over shoulder movement and uncoiling. So it's very, very simple. You want to keep your left arm up until your racket's about to hit the birthday hat, which you do, but just drop the arm out and point to the opponent. Then bring it back in. As you can see with Marcel, his arm, it's very clear. His arm goes like this and then back in. It goes out and then back in. You want to tuck the arm as you're striking the ball. Your arm is tucked before you ever hit the ball. You can see it's like a perfectly timed tuck. He's bringing that arm in as he's hitting. Your arm is tucking too early and you actually lose the benefit of it. So after you release the ball and keep your left arm up, point to the opponent, then tuck it in against the body. Now, one of the biggest reasons for tucking the arm in against the body is to stop the body's rotation so that you can actually snap the forearm faster. Here's a great view of the young American J.J. Wolf. The guy's bringing his arm in against his body, right? It goes up, goes out, pulls it back in. Now watch when he's done, this is called a power X, how the arms are crossed. And it basically looks like he's hugging himself. Like if there was someone standing back here, he's waving to them with his left hand. Now, I want you to watch his body because this is so important. Watch his body, how it doesn't continue to rotate, but it actually stops and basically faces at the net post. Watch this. Here his chest is facing back. Here his chest is facing the net post. But watch how his chest stops rotating. His body stops rotating. It's like, just watch this. Rotating, rotating, stop. Watch it again. His body's going to rotate toward the net post and then stop right there. It's crazy, isn't it? Like you can see it from the logo on his shirt. That blue logo completely stops. Here's a great view of Nadal. Now, I made him right-handed so that it would make sense since you're right-handed. There's the palm down just like you, racket going from right to left in the motion. Now, watch this position, right, or this section of him right now, or at this moment, and watch how he goes through contact and his body never rotates. See how his body's not rotating? It was rotating, and then no longer. You'll see his left hand is visible to the left side of his body. And that's because he's got an X in front of him. The purpose of that is to stop the body's rotation. Body stops rotating, and then what ends up happening is you can snap the forearm. So from here, his body is facing the net post, or like the single stick right here. And then here, his body is still facing the single stick. There is no rotation as he's hitting the ball. By doing that, you can snap the forearm so much faster and hit bigger serves. All right, Eric, the last thing. You are falling off to the left when you are done. You'll notice when you're done serving, you fall over to the left. And if you watch J.J. Wolf from the back view, watch when he lands. See how his front foot is pointing directly forward, where when your left foot hits the ground, it's pointing to the left and you fall off to the left? Where he lands forward and then he just spreads his feet apart in a ready position. That's a 136 mile an hour serve right there. When you jump, notice how you jump left, like your left foot is jumping left. That's because of the toss and the grip. forcing you to swing towards your target. Watch how he jumps straight forward. Like his left foot doesn't jump to the left, his left foot jumps to the forward. So this is like, look at this. This actually looks really similar, right? Like your body's just facing more left, his body's facing more forward. This is going to be, though, a byproduct of the grip and the swing and the toss. So if you can get the right grip, toss lower and more to the right, and then swing more to the right, you won't fall off to the left when you're done. All right, Eric, here are your serve solutions. Number one, you got to hold the racket with a continental grip. One way to actually do that is to start with your racket face slightly open, that your strings are actually facing slightly up toward the sky. That'll promote the continental grip. Knuckle and heel pad on panel number two. Number two, your feet should start farther apart. When they start as close as they are, or your right foot comes up behind your left foot's like, yo, like we need to get farther apart. And then you end up foot faulting with your left foot. When your feet are farther apart, you won't desire to step. Number three, toss slower so you can toss lower, giving yourself less time, creating the environment where it's necessary that you swing faster. It's an easy way to swing faster and hit faster serves and hit better spin. And then I want you to toss between 12:30, 1 o'clock, somewhere in that range. Slightly inside the court, yes, but 12:30 to 1 o'clock. Number four, swing to the right. So we just saw Taylor Fritz a couple minutes ago. He did not swing anywhere near his target. He was swinging off to the right, and that's to impart side spin. So you cut the ball. When people hold a continental grip and then they're told to spin the ball, but then they toss, at like 11 o'clock, and they're trying to swing straight toward their target, then what happens? The ball goes way left, and they're like, well, this grip stinks. And then they go back to their forehand grip. So you need to swing off to the right of your target. Stop hitting flat serves. Stop trying to hit totally straight serves where the ball goes in a straight line. We got to hit balls that curve, and they should curve to the left. So the way you do that is to swing to the right, leading with the right edge of the racket, the front edge of the racket, as you spin the ball. Just think Harlem Globetrotter spinning a basketball on their finger. Number five, left arm movement. After you toss and you're about to hit the birthday hat, reach out and point to the opponent with your left arm, or like point to the net, basically. Just think of it that way. And then tuck that left arm in against the body. It's the proper movement of the left arm, proper uncoiling and then stopping of the body so you can accelerate the hitting arm. And then number six, you are currently falling to the left or jumping to the left. I want you to jump forward into the court. And when you land, I want your left toe pointing straight forward toward the net. Eric, thanks again so much. This has been such a blast. Thank you for trusting me to help you with your whole game, right? So you work on these 6 ideas in the order in which I taught them to you. Take your time. Slower you go, the better it is. I promise there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. Eric, you got this.
So click right there to grab your own video stroke analysis lesson with me. And I would love to hear in the comment section below something that you learned watching Eric's lesson that you didn't know about the serve. Work on these ideas, there's no doubt. You're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.